referee Radar Martin. I'm joined by Harold at this time. How are you, Harold?
Good. How are you today, Brian?
I'm doing great. Right now, without further notice, we're going to bring on, he's known as the Southern Savior, Mr. John Skylar of Premier Wrestling Experience.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you, sir?
Hey, going good.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for being on, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to talking about PWX's Rise of a Champion and all the other stuff I got going on. So let's get right into it.
Okay, great.
Okay, sounds good. What was it that made you decide that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Well, it's something I grew up watching as a kid. I actually grew up in Blythewood, South Carolina, which is a little small town. And there wasn't really a lot going on out there when I was growing up or whatever. But I was into like Batman and G.I. Joe and that kind of stuff. And then I discovered pro wrestling one day. They were like real life superheroes to me and all that kind of stuff. And so as I started like watching the early days of Monday Night Raw and stuff like that, I became, just kind of fascinated with guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart and Mr. Perfect and those kind of guys. And then I watched Shawn Michaels win the WWE Championship from Bret Hart at WrestleMania, and that's kind of what sealed the deal for me. I mean, because I remember watching like the training montages and all that kind of stuff about Shawn and him talking about wanting to realize his dream and become WWE champion, and I was just kind of like living vicariously through that. And I was like, man, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I kind of want to be Shawn Michaels. So that's really what did it, man. After that, I was hooked from an early age, but I would say that's, watching Shawn win the WWE title for the first time was probably the one thing that made me really want to be a wrestler.
That's awesome.
Speaking of training, where did you start training at to get you on this road?
It's kind of a weird story, but I'll try to make it quick. I actually started going to independent shows when I was in college. And I didn't really have any kind of direction on what I wanted to do with my life or anything like that. I knew I wanted to, eventually be a wrestler, but I didn't really know how to get trained or anything like that. I didn't really do a lot of research about schools or anything. So I was going to these independent shows locally, and then there was this guy that wrestled on the independents, and he still does, named Timber, and he started getting me. I was going to the shows and kind of helped set up the ring and put out chairs and stuff like that, and I wasn't even really training. I was just trying to, support my local independents. And I think he saw that, and one day he was just like, "Hey kid, you want to get in the ring?" And I was like, "Yeah, my God, yes." So, I started bumping around with him before shows, and then, he taught me the fundamentals. But then I realized, like, there's only so much you can do before a show because there's guys that, they need the ring to get prepped and they need to get warmed up and things like that. So I was constantly kind of get kicked out of the ring and stuff like that. So I finally did my research and found Bob Keller's Eastern Pro Wrestling School in Gaston, South Carolina. And I trained with Bob Keller for probably 4 or 5 months before I had my first match. And then once I had my first match, I kind of linked up with Lodi and started riding with him, traveling with him, and then training with him in the gym and also, inside the ring too. And he kind of helped refine my skills a little bit too. So those are kind of the three guys that I credit with my, for my training is, Timber and Bob Keller and Lodi.
Okay.
Now you have wrestled for WWE and TNA at least one time or another. Can you tell us how those experiences were?
Yeah, sure. I mean, both were great opportunities. It's kind of one of those things. I think I was wrestling about 4 years, 3 or 4 years at the time, and I was still fairly new, fairly young to the business, and it seems so far-fetched, like the idea of making it when you first start. You're like, man, am I going to be doing these independents forever? Like, what's going to happen? Am I ever going to catch a break? And then eventually one day, I just got a call from a guy that was working in TNA's offices at the time named Bill Clark, and he's not there anymore. But he asked if I was interested in coming down and doing a dart match in Orlando, and I told him yes. And me and my tag team partner at the time, Stephen Walters, we rode down there and or flew down there and did a dart match. It was a great experience. For whatever reason, there was a lot of change going on with TNA at the time. They had just brought in Bruce Pritchard, and there were a lot of guys that were under contract with TNA that were sitting at home, but they didn't really have anything to do. Like they were just collecting a paycheck at home. So I don't think we went in at the right time to get a job. I don't know if they were necessarily looking to hire anybody else just because they had so many guys on their roster sitting at home. But either way, it was a great experience. And then, man, I think it was probably a week later WWE called about a tryout.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really weird how those things work. You sit at home for 3 or 4 years and do the grind of the independents, and then it's like, bam, 2 opportunities from both companies back to back. So, and the WWE, I think it's just when you look at TNA and WWE, it is still a little bit like night and day. I think WWE has everything down to more of like a science as far as they're the number 1 global wrestling company in the world. So, we had a lot of direction about what we're supposed to do and all that kind of stuff, what time to be at the building, where to go, who to report to, who to sign in with, and all that kind of stuff. And so, and then for WWE, I actually got to wrestle on television a couple times. And,
oh, wow.
Those 2 were great experiences. I got to wrestle Ryback in my hometown of Columbia. And then here recently I wrestled the Ascension on Main Event in Louisiana. So anytime you get an opportunity like that and they come calling, it's always a great experience. You get to learn from the best of the best. I mean, guys like Arn Anderson and Road Dogg and William Regal, all those guys have been tremendous in helping me out when I've been there and just passing down knowledge. It's just an opportunity you really can't pass up.
Me and Brian live here in Georgia, and I know you have some Georgia connections, let's say. You want to speak about any of those?
Yeah, sure. I've wrestled in Georgia too. Even though I'm a South Carolina boy, I've worked the grind of the independents pretty much everywhere. I've worked a lot for Anarchy Wrestling in Georgia. Kind of cut my teeth there for a little while. Wrestled in Carrollton for Peach State, and that's always a good experience too. I love going down to Georgia. It seems like the wrestling fans still down there are very much diehard believers in what we do, and they're some of the most passionate fans that I've ever seen. So anytime I get to make my way down to Georgia, I always look forward to it.
Okay.
Do you think that if you had a 1-on-1 match with Moose that you could beat him?
Moose? Yeah, only time will tell. He's on a bit of a roll right now. I know in Ring of Honor, I still believe that he's undefeated or whatever. We clashed in tag team action at PWX. Him and Anthony Henry wrestled me and Billy Brash. And let's just say that I wasn't the one that it was my partner. So there's always that's a very intriguing matchup. I think that's something people would like to see. But Moose is still fairly new to this business, and he's got some size, he's got some agility for a big man, and he's used to pushing guys around on the football field. But I mean, I've wrestled all over the world. I've honed my craft for 6 years now, so there's a reason why I'm a top guy in PWX and virtually everywhere else I've been, and that's because I know what I'm doing. So I would definitely find a way to probably pick Moose apart. And let's just say if it ever happens, it'd definitely be an intriguing matchup.
Okay, it sounds interesting.
I know you wrestled Reed Flair. You got anything to say about him? I know he passed away a little bit too soon.
Yeah, Reed was a good friend of mine. We traveled up and down the roads together too when he was, get started. I think we got started right around the same time. And, he was another one that, I remember training with him, with Lodi, and at High Spots with his sister Charlotte, who's doing great things now. Yeah, man, it was unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I always have real fond memories of Reed. He was a very, very funny guy. He was a joy to be around, and at the end of the day, we all have our issues. Everybody, from me to you guys, I'm sure we have things that we deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate to see somebody, go too soon. But I'll always remember the times that we had together, and very fond memories of Reed. And our matches were what they were. I remember really enjoying the match we had in Carrollton for the NWA Legends Fan Fest.
Mm-hmm.
We actually wrestled each other in the first round of the Future Legends Cup, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, he was a great kid, or a great friend too, and he would just make you laugh, man. He was so funny. Even, I got one quick story. I remember one time we were driving to West Virginia, and it was for a show, and it was me, him, and Lodi, and we weren't really sure what we were getting into at the time, like what the show was going to be like, and Reed just kind of kept us entertained the whole time, kept us laughing the whole trip up, and then we did the show, and all the guys kind of got stiffed on pay. The promoter ended up not having any money, so we were all a little PO'd or hot about it or whatever, and man, I just remember on the way home, Reed did everything he could to keep the mood lighthearted and keep us laughing. And I remember he called his dad on the phone and got his dad all wound up and talking about how the promoter had stiffed him on money, and Rick was going crazy on the phone saying he was going to find the guy and all that kind of stuff. And Reed was like, relax, Dad, it's okay, these things happen. That's why it's independent wrestling. And Rick's like, give me the guy's name, I'll find him. Just give me his name. So those are kind of my fond memories of Reed. Again, he was just such a funny guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember back in 2011 we met Reed at NWA Legends Fan Fest here in Atlanta, and he was for the short time we got to meet him, he was a very, very polite person, very, very warm spirit to be around and everything. But we want to move on to, we know that this coming Sunday, we know that PWX presents at Ziggy's at 170 West 9th Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27101, this Sunday, February 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also get this on highspotstv.com. You're going to be facing the 5-star King Anthony Henry. And John, I got a little surprise for you. Right here on the show right now, I'm gonna bring on our other guest, the 5-star King himself, Anthony Henry.
Yeah. Anthony Henry's right here. Kind of got tired of hearing John Skylar's voice for a minute there, but yeah, I'm here. What's up, guys?
Oh, good.
Hey,
you got the dweeb from Georgia interrupting my time. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about time somebody do it, because you've gotten plenty of chances to talk about this over and over again. Everybody's heard your side of the story. Nobody's heard mine, so it's about time.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. It was about nearly 10 months ago that this feud between both of y'all started. It all started when John Skylar, the Southern Savior, DDT'd your girlfriend and valet, Amber Young, and then it went from there. You had clashes in tag team matches. You had single matches, and, I've seen both y'all wrestle. Y'all put on phenomenal matches together, and I got to say, I compare y'all's matches to that of Benoit and Angle, or to that of Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. I mean, y'all's chemistry goes well together, goes great together, but I got to ask both of you, what are your plans on coming out victorious this coming Sunday at PWX, Rise of the Champion 10, celebrating 10 years of PWX?
Well, my approach is going to be pretty simple, right? You know, I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm going to beat the living crap out of John Skylar, except for, you know, this time it's going to be on a whole nother level. You know, at the last show we were at PWX together, you know, he took Amber and put her in a position, you know, obviously was uncomfortable for her, but that's the kind of guy he is. He's a piece of crap, you know. So I came out, I kicked his head in, and then I stomped his face into the ground. And some would say that was another level up from what I've been doing to him before. But you know what? That was just a taste. Skylar, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to beat the living crap out of you. I'm going to beat the crap out of you like nobody else has ever done it before.
Oh, golly. Would you just give it a rest already? I mean, all you do is sit there and you cry. You cry and you bitch and you moan because you can't keep your girlfriend. You know, I don't understand it. You know, as many times as we've wrestled each other, I've always come out victorious. So what do you think is going to be making it
right? Yeah, you've always
Anthony?
come out victorious. You've always come out victorious because you always have some trick that you play. You can't do it one-on-one, man-to-man. You know, you always got something up your sleeve, right?
Yeah,
I got an idea for you. I got an idea for you. Hey, I know. I got an idea for you, man. How about this time? How about we go out there, all right? We fight, and whoever wins is whoever wins. No tricks, no games, no BS. Just fight me. Because
I told you
from
day one I would fight you. I told you from day one I would fight you. And this Sunday, that's exactly what we're going to do because our little host here can talk about Ricky Steamboat and Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit and all the wrestlers he wants to. But come Sunday, it's going to be a fight. Okay? If anybody knows about a fight on a big-time atmosphere at Rise of the Champion, it's me. Okay? I wrestled in an I Quit match last year and bled buckets. What do you think? What are you willing to go to, Anthony? Okay, I know what I'm getting into. What are you willing to go in? What lengths are you willing to go to?
I'm going out there with the mentality it's kill or be killed. I'm willing to go out there and die. That's what I'm willing to do. I know you don't have that in you, man.
And for what?
You don't have it.
Are you trying to fight for your girl, Amber, or are you fighting for your own ego? What are you fighting for, Anthony?
You know, it's about a lot of things, man. It's about the number one goal here is putting an end to you. Because it's not even just about Amber. Obviously, that is a big deal. That has been the motivating factor here. But, you know, it goes beyond that. Because you've been doing this crap for a long time. It's just not Amber. It's been referees. It's been other wrestlers that you've been putting out for months and months in PWX, man. You're just a piece of crap. Straight up. Everybody knows it. That's what you are. And you know what you do with pieces of crap? You throw it in the garbage. So this Sunday, you're going in the garbage. I'm closing the lid on you for good at PWX. That's it. Bottom line.
Okay, I gotta ask you guys this. Okay, you know, each one of you have given your side of the story. If it ever came down to one day, I know that both of y'all are bitter enemies, but if it ever came down to one day where there was some kind of lethal lottery in PWX, could you see yourselves teaming up together for a tag team tournament?
No.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Not
Absolutely
a chance. Okay.
Because I'm not cutting a wrestling promo here for you guys. When I'm telling you that I don't like Anthony Henry, I have not liked Anthony Henry since the day I met him in Royston, Georgia, back in 2009. Okay,
wow.
He's a little arrogant little prick. And
wow.
That's he walks around thinking he's better than everybody. He calls himself the 5-Star King and Mr. Match of the Night and all the little nicknames he wants to give himself. Okay, and that's why we haven't liked each other since day one. Okay,
you're right. You know, it's probably better that that's the case, right? Because I don't like you either, and everybody knows it. You know, it's no secret that we don't like each other. It is what it is. Locker rooms know it. You know. And you can talk all day about me being arrogant and me calling myself the 5-Star King. I mean, look at you, man. All you do is brag about the places that you go and the things that you do and who you wrestled. Oh, I wrestled Gunner. I wrestled this guy. Who gives a crap, man? Who cares?
There's a reason I've been all those places, Anthony, and there's a reason you barely left Georgia and the Carolinas.
Because you kiss enough ass?
I have been all over the world because I'm one of the best damn wrestlers in the world.
or it could be because you kissed the ass of all the promoters. Could it be that?
Okay.
Or is it who you know? Is it who you know?
Yeah, maybe it is.
I mean, we could talk all day about this, right? But at the end of the day, this Sunday, it all gets settled. We don't have to look at each other anymore.
Well, you heard it. You heard it there, folks. This Sunday, it's going to be put up or shut up for the Southern Savior John Skylar and for the 5-star King Anthony Henry as they go out there in a street fight. As we know, back in November at What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, we know that John Skylar did throw powder in Anthony Henry's face and pulled the tights and won the services of Amber Young. And we know that this Sunday we'll find out who walks out victorious. Will it be the Southern Savior John Skylar, or will it be the 5-star King Anthony Henry? Do y'all have any final words for each other?
Yeah, I got a couple. For one, Amber's services have been great, by the way. We had a great Valentine's Day. Thank you for asking. Our holiday season was magnificent. And come Sunday, if Anthony Henry wins, and I'm a man of my word, I'll let him have Amber back if he wins on Sunday. But let's face it, she might dig too much of the Southern Savior. I don't know. Her services have been great. Okay. And come Sunday, when it's all said and done, somebody or somebodies will be saved by the Southern Savior.
There you go. There you have it. There's another prime example of why John Skylar is the ultimate douchebag, right? These are my final words for you. I'm fighting for Amber and all the crap you put her through, which, by the way, I don't understand how any of the wrestling fans and the little following that you have, I don't understand it because, you're just a load of crap. You're a piece of crap, We got all this crap going on in the world. We got ISIS. We got, all the violence going on. And you're just another example of one of those types of people, And the thing that we need to do with those types of people is eradicate them from this planet. And I'm going to eradicate you from PWX. I don't want to ever see you again. The pain and the punishment I'm going to put you through the last 6-7 months, it's all coming to an end here. So PWX, be prepared to go to war. I know you'll bring it. That's fine, because I'm going to bring a little bit more.
Well, fans, you can see this live this Sunday at Ziggy's, 170 West 9th Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27101. Or you can also order it on highspots.tv. So that will be this Sunday. And speaking of this Sunday, John, that was a very interesting altercation between you and exchange between you and Anthony Henry. But I wanna go over the card for this Sunday, including y'all. We've already discussed y'all's match coming up this coming Sunday. We got Zane Riley's going to be fighting Jacob Hemery. What are your thoughts on that match?
Well, hang on. You got to give me a second to cool down here after talking to the little 5-star dweeb on the other end of the phone.
Okay.
He comes on here and interrupts my time. This is my valuable radio time, podcast time, not his. So, anyways, he'll get his on Sunday. Zane Riley and his opponent for this Sunday, Jacob, what was his last name?
Jacob Hemery.
Yeah, Zane Riley's got this thing going on with him and Caleb Conley, the Revolt. Apparently they're unhappy about working for PWX. I don't know how that'll fare when he's trying to prepare himself for this Sunday. But, my bottom line is if you're not happy at PWX, you don't want to work there, go work somewhere else. There's countless of other places to wrestle. Okay, so if they're that bitter about the direction of PWX and the way it's going, just leave. Just go away. So, I think he's got a little bit too much on his plate right now, and it might end up backfiring on him on this Sunday.
Well, what are your thoughts on Moose challenging for the PWX ITV Championship against Billy Brash? Because, I seen Billy Brash wrestling at What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, and he was awesome in his performance. He reminded me of a young JBL at that. I mean, and then you got Moose. I mean, so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously Moose has the size advantage. He's got probably the strength advantage as well. Former NFL football player. But Billy Brash is in a way he's very conniving. He can find a way to win, and that's why he's the ITV champion. So come this Sunday, it's really hard to bet against Moose, given the size difference. But don't let the size fool you either, because like I said, Moose is a great athlete. He's got tons of agility. He's got a drop kick that it'll knock your socks off when you see it. So Moose, if I had to pick a winner and I was a betting man, it's hard to bet against Moose this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What about Joe Black against Chip Day? Now, I've never seen Joe Black wrestle, but I have seen Chip Day, and he's very, very good at what he does.
Yeah, well, Joe Black is too. He's a very talented athlete. He's a very talented wrestler. He took AR Fox to his limit recently, and this one's going to be kind of a crapshoot. It can go either way. Like you said, Chip Day he's probably got a striking advantage. He likes to kick hard and strike hard. He comes from several different angles with his strikes, and Joe Black might be more of the technician in this match, and it's kind of hard to pick a winner, but if I had to flip a coin, I'd go with Chip Day.
Well, who do you think will be the mystery opponent for Tessa Blanchard this coming Sunday? Because Tessa Blanchard has been going through all the challengers that she's had. I mean, in PWX, and she calls herself the Queen. And I mean, who do you possibly think could show up to challenge her and actually knock her off her throne in PWX? Or do you think there's anybody that can actually beat her?
Well, good question.
To answer the second part of the question first, everybody in this business is beatable, okay? Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So, as far as the mystery opponent goes, I don't know, because women's wrestling is on the uprise right now. There's a lot of great women wrestlers out there. It can virtually be anybody. I mean, she's had a feud here lately across the independents with Mickie James. Who's to say it won't be Mickie James? Or it could be various, maybe on paper less experienced female wrestlers like a Darcy Dixon or an Amanda Rodriguez, or it could be anybody. I can't really tell you because I don't know. I know it won't be my little 5-star Princess Amber. She'll have more important business to do with me. So I'm not going to let her go out there and embarrass Tessa Blanchard just yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and what about the PWX Tag Team Championship? It'll be a 3-way tag team title match. Worst case scenario against Country Jack against the debut of the Young Bucks, the Bullet Club. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
Again, it's almost like Chip Day and Joe Black. It's going to be a crapshoot about who comes out victorious. You got 6 guys in there, 3 teams. Triple threat matches are very unpredictable because anybody can pin anybody at any time. The champions can probably lose the titles without ever getting beat. So these are kind of the elements you got to think of when you think of picking a winner here. Now, obviously, the Young Bucks are at the top of their game. They're at their peak. They're in their prime. They're the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. They've been killing it over in Japan. Worst case scenario, you can't count them out because of the longest reigning PWX Tag Team Champions. Obviously, they held those titles for a long time for a reason. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with my boys. My I don't have a lot of friends in this business, but my boys, Country Jack, I think are gonna walk out victorious on Sunday. They're the best tag team I've seen in a very long time.
Okay, yeah, I know that they are very good. I seen them wrestling at What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, and they did awesome. And speaking of this card, while I'm looking at this card, do you know if the Bravado brothers are going to appear this Sunday?
The Bravados?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Bravado brothers will be wrestling Lince Dorado and Lucha Cruz from Los Pendeos. I think they're called Lucha World Order.
Okay.
So yes, the Bravados will be on the card.
That'll be awesome. And finally, what are your thoughts on the PWX World Heavyweight Championship match? Cedric Alexander against Caleb Conley. As we know, Caleb Conley and Zane Riley, from my understanding, have went to management and they've complained about a bunch of stuff. What are your thoughts on that main event matchup for the world title?
Well, for one, it was the main event of last year's Rise of a Champion 9, and they went about 45 minutes, and, Caleb came out victorious. But that was last year. Now, both guys have grown. Both guys have more experience. Cedric Alexander's been traveling the world. I know a lot of people have been griping that Cedric Alexander hasn't been at PWX defending the PWX championship, but it's not like he's been sitting at home on his ass. He's been out traveling the world, wrestling for Ring of Honor. He's not a slouch. He's one of the best in the world. That's why he's the PWX champion. Now, I kind of touched on Caleb Conley earlier when I was talking about Zane with this whole revolt thing. If they're not happy with the direction of PWX, go work somewhere else. Again, Caleb's very talented, just as talented as Cedric. Okay, I'm sure he can't. It can't be that hard for him to find work. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to pick a winner for Sunday, I don't know. I really don't know who could come out victorious of the title match. But I know one thing. I'll be watching. I'll be watching very, very closely. And depending on how, I am physically after my match with Anthony Henry, I'm going to have my sights set on the PWX championship because I've been at PWX for a very long time and I haven't had one title shot. Okay?
Sounds like you do to me.
Yeah, sounds like you're due for a... Yeah, sound like you're due for a title shot.
Yeah, not one title shot for the 3 or 4 years that I've been busting my ass for this company. Caleb and Zane can talk about the revolt or everything that they want to talk about, but if anybody has any room to gripe, it's me. Okay?
That's what it
I
sounds
have
like
one single shot at the PWX championship. Now, Caleb and Cedric both have had multiple opportunities, multiple title shots. Okay? And they both deserve it. You know what? Because they're both great. They're both great wrestlers. And that's why I can't pick a winner on Sunday. It'll be a great match. It'll be a great main event for Rise of the Champion 10. But whoever comes out victorious needs to have eyes open in the back of their head because the Southern Savior's coming, and he's coming to trample the weak. And not only trample the weak, but he's going to hurdle the champ, too, no matter who it is.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, this card is stacked from top to bottom. It sounds awesome, and I know from seeing Premier Wrestling Experience on In Demand pay-per-view that they do put on. They are, in my opinion, like I've told Jackson James on this show, Zane Riley, y'all's company is one of the greatest independent wrestling promotions in the world because of the caliber of matches y'all put on, and I don't want to rub this the wrong way, but WWE always talks about their network for $9.99, all this stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, PWX, they charge only $10 for a 3 or 4 hour pay-per-view of top-notch quality matches.
Absolutely,
you're gonna
find something you like either way. Not only the match is top notch, but and this isn't me trying to plug PWX. This isn't me trying to sell PWX to anybody that's on the fence about maybe getting a pay-per-view this Sunday. But you're gonna get women's wrestling. You're gonna get some of the best tag team wrestling you've ever seen in your life with the Young Bucks, with Cutsy Jack, with worst case scenario with the Bravados, and then you're gonna get a fight. You're gonna get a fight between me and Anthony Henry. It's not gonna be about wrestling at all. It'll be about brutality and bloodshed. And you're gonna get a great championship match between Cedric Alexander and Caleb Conley. There's something for every wrestling fan on this show Sunday.
Well, we've got about 8 minutes left, and I'm gonna let Harold continue asking you questions because that pretty much wraps up my portion of the interview. But I'm gonna let Harold continue on with the show. So go ahead, Harold.
I know you were wrestling defending your title, and you defended against Wardell Walker. He's a Southern favorite when he's being known all over the world now. But how is it wrestling Wardell Walker?
Wardell's great. He's one that's been around for a very long time, and I'm assuming you're talking about the WrestleForce Championship match that we had
right
way back when.
Okay.
But yeah, Wardell's great, man. He's an intense individual. When you get in there, you know you're gonna have a fight. And I actually just wrestled Wardell this past Sunday for a company up in North Carolina, and it was still the same. You know, he's an intense guy. He's one that you wonder, why isn't he under contract? You know, why isn't he signed somewhere? Because he's that damn good. And I've also seen him legitimately, outside of a ring, whoop some ass. So he's nobody to play around with. And at the end of the day, he's probably one of the most legit guys I've ever stepped foot in the ring with. So he's very, very talented.
In that same vein, you said before you wrestled Gunner. How was he in the ring?
I don't think Gunner gets the credit that Gunner deserves. He's actually a very talented wrestler. And I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he has his critics, like we all do. But he's actually one of the best wrestlers I've ever stepped foot in the ring with. And it's no secret that me and him are pretty good friends and all that kind of stuff. But I would say it if he wasn't my friend. It doesn't matter how our relationship is, you know. He is one of the very best that there is out there. And I think it's only a matter of time before he captures the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. What about finishing moves? What do you like to do? How do you finish your opponents usually?
It depends on the situation. I kind of have a little bit of everything in my arsenal. Right now I'm using the sliced bread number 2, which I call the saving grace. That's my primary finishing maneuver. I also have a slingshot spear that I hit from the from the outside of the apron into the ring. I utilize a DDT, a tornado DDT, super kick, you name it. If I see an opening, it's just going to depend on the situation. But I'll probably utilize one of those maneuvers to take out my opponent.
Speaking of your opponent, he's got a few different nicknames, but you have the moniker of the Southern Savior. Can you tell us where you got that from?
Yeah. For a while, I was wrestling as the new sensation, John Skylar, and like everything else, there comes a time when it's not new anymore. So,
right.
I was kind of going through a change in my personal life, and I was going through a period where I didn't really know who I was or what I was doing. So then I started watching these documentaries on guys like David Koresh and Charles Manson, guys like that. And, it just intrigued me how, some of the most evil people on our planet are some of the smartest people on our planet. And I started thinking about, being a little bit more cold and calculating and cryptic, and in the same vein, almost like a loose cannon at times. Like Brian Pillman has always been a big influence of mine. So when it came to coming up with a nickname, I'm very proud of my Southern roots, my Southern heritage. And at the end of the day, I've always told guys, my goal in professional wrestling is to make the business better, to save it, to do anything I can to change it for the better. So then I started thinking about a name, and that's when I came up with the Southern Savior, John Skylar. It all kind of rolls off the tongue, too, with the S's. So, but it's not just a nickname. It's not just a gimmick. It's pretty much who I am, 24/7, 365.
Yeah, they say there's a thin line between insanity and insanity. But anyway, I also saw that you were in Europe for 3 months. How was that tour compared to being in American, audiences? How are the European tours?
Yeah, I've been over there twice now. Both times I went in 2013 for the first time for 3 months. I went last year for 3 months, and it's definitely different than the United States. but you can see definitely now that there's a, because back in the day they had World of Sports was big in England. I don't know if you guys know about that, but all over Europe they showed World of Sports, which was wrestling was fought in rounds.
Right.
They had like a round system.
Wow.
That's where guys like Steve Regal, Fit Finlay, Robbie Brookside, Johnny Saint, a lot of the big European names like that, and Dave Taylor and Drew McDonald, who sadly passed away last week. All got their niches and became stars was from World of Sports. Now that's kind of gone to the side a little bit, and now there's more of an influence from all over the world, not just America, but it's definitely a lot about entertainment. But there's still a big emphasis on wrestling too. Now, when I was over there, I was wrestling with guys from Europe. I wrestled guys from Wrestle One and Michinoku Pro from Japan.
Wow.
I wrestled guys from AAA from Mexico. I mean, there was a big different variety of guys over there. So I got to learn, just alone in Europe touring over there, I got to learn all sorts of different styles. And it definitely helped improve my game because you're wrestling every night. Sometimes you wrestle 10 nights in 1 week. Or I'm sorry, not 10 nights. Sometimes you wrestle 10 shows in 1 week. So you had no choice but to get better.
Wow. I'm looking at the clock, and we've got about 2 minutes until the live feed will cut us off. But we want to thank you so much for being on the show, John, and we hope that you'll come back again in the future. And
tell us, where can we find you? If we're looking for you, are you on Facebook? Where are you at? How can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You just search The Southern Savior, John Skylar. It's Skyler, and you'll get linked up to my fan page. You can give that a like, and you can pretty much be in touch with everywhere I'm going to be. I have a Twitter account, which is @TheJohnSkylar. I'm also on Instagram, same thing, @TheJohnSkylar. And I also have a YouTube channel where you can check out some matches, promos, all that kind of stuff, and that's just the John Skylar YouTube channel. So I'm all over the place on social media.
Okay, great.
Okay, we want to thank you for being on, John, and we hope that you'll come back again in the future and be a part of the show.
It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Name the time and the place, and probably the next time we'll talk, I'll probably be PWX champion.
Well, we might see that.
All right, that would be awesome.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well.